We're back again. We're re-recording again. We hope we have ironed out all the technical issues.
Definitely seems to be running better.
It seems like it has. We are never gonna put out a needle skip day again.
Oh, not like day one.
Not like day one, and not like some of these other ones that we think they're okay, and then 15 minutes in, all of a sudden we're skipping.
Yeah,
We get past that 15-minute hurdle, and suddenly we're skipping like a bad Three Dog Night record. Not that Three Dog Night put out bad records. I don't know. I haven't listened to them. I like Shambhala. That's a good single. Moving on. Do you ever wish you could just nail Christopher Walken impressions?
oh, there's some people I've seen some solid impressions of.
I wish I could. I'll do a thing for like a minute. I think I've got it, and then I'll fall apart because
Yeah,
I can't do an impression of like his entire like all of his cadences, all of his,
yeah,
I can probably get that first word and a half, and then it starts falling apart on me. But I really wish I could nail a Christopher Walken impression.
yeah,
Now I need to find somebody out there who does a Christopher Walken impression, and then I will do an impression of their impression.
yeah,
That I could probably hit,
yeah.
but
You're solid at those
I'm pretty solid at those.
impressions of impressions.
Yeah, that's my shtick. I would like to make a couple of notes here that I don't understand the artistic flourishes people take that work out so well, mind you.
Yeah,
And Skylar and I, we miss him dearly, and we hope that one day he will return to us and be on the channel again. But things are going on in his life that are infinitely more important than pissing away his time shooting the shit and talking about whatever nonsense it is we have to talk about.
right. Thinking about you though, buddy.
We are. We miss you terribly. We hope you will come back and hang out. We just hope you're well way before that.
Agreed.
But one of the conversations we were having the other day was we were talking about Futurama, okay,
Okay.
and and how amazing a casting decision it was to get at least Billy West and Katie Seagal on the show as Fry and Leela, the two
Main
big main
characters.
characters.
Yeah.
And that's not to leave out John DiMaggio, who of course plays Bender, but most of the between Billy West and John DiMaggio and a lot of other people, they play not only one, two, or three. They make up the entire world of the show.
Really.
Like a lot of actors, just like on The Simpsons, a lot of those actors play three, four, seven, 100 different characters on the show,
Okay.
and all the voices can be very different from each other.
Right.
Now, John DiMaggio has done a lot of things. I've started to be able to pick him out of the lineup regardless of what character or what voice he is. And it's like, all right, well, that guy sounds like this guy on Futurama, even though he's in Gears of War. That's John DiMaggio.
Right.
And, I can do that mental Mary Poppins supercalifragilistic math in my head sometimes. Ugh. And I can get there.
Right.
Sometimes I need a little bit more help. But I bring this up because Billy West does a lot of voices on the show. Not only Fry, he does Professor Farnsworth, he does Zach Brannigan. He is even the voice of the head of Richard Nixon. And and I don't know what it is where it's like, okay, do Richard Nixon if he was becoming a werewolf, because that's what he sounds like he's all it's like, why is Richard Nixon always turning into a were? What was that impression that was just born out of trying to find Richard Nixon in your voice?
Right.
And that's one of my favorites, and that's one I always try to do. And I think I do it just good enough to be passable. Like it's not an A plus, but I'm at least scraping by with a B minus impression of his impression.
Right.
And and you can't explain why things are funny.
Right.
Like I can't explain why something is funny to me other than it's just I don't know. I don't understand the chemical brain.
Dopamine.
I don't know. I don't know how to
I
explain it.
dopamine.
Other, other than is it just because it's something you're unexpecting or something behaving in a way differently than what it normally should?
Right.
I don't understand the science, and I will not be insulted by having somebody trying to break down the chemical formula that explains nature.
Right.
Let let's not go there. And there's videos that do that. They explain, like there's a guy who makes videos on YouTube somewhere. My buddy John used to watch a lot of his videos where he would take insane concepts and he would try to break them down into very simple, here's the science explanations. Like he
Yeah.
made a video explaining why small things are cute.
Okay.
And oddities like that, and how like there are infinities within
I
infinities,
think I might,
like the
maybe not the same guy, but I saw one where it was a picture of the moon from the satellite that went around the rocket went around the moon, and it said, somebody's like, well, if there's like 13,000 satellites around our globe, how come you don't see any of them right now in that picture?
yeah
And so he just starts going off saying like, well, based on this picture, the spacecraft is 870,000 miles away and blah blah blah, and a space thing would be this big, and from this point of view, at that direction, at this angle, with this much light shining, you wouldn't even be able to see it. And it's like, how did you,
yeah I don't
mind you, that was a 4 minute video I just summed up into about 3 seconds, but like, it's like, what?
you just don't my brain is not going to understand that Mr. Wizard weather formula that you just cobbled
Hmm.
together out of cement. And
I can't even remember two words you put together just now.
where did I lose you, Mr. Wizard? Weather. I don't even remember what words I put together just
I think
now.
that's where you lost me right there.
Yeah.
That was it.
But what I what I'm striking on right now is I don't need to know the whys of a lot of things. Like the science is not important to me.
Right.
If I can laugh, if something in my belly tickles me and I can laugh, then I am built the way I am supposed to be, and I don't have to worry about why people laugh or how big the universe, like how many square miles the universe would actually take up if it was pounded out flat like a football field. I don't care. That's not important to me.
It's a big number though.
It's a big number. And multiply and the science even suggests that multiplying it by two would make no difference because the human mind is just incapable of understanding things on that scale.
Yeah.
So let us not delve into the science of why. Let us focus on that, the that of it,
What is that?
that it is funny, that it
Oh,
makes me laugh, that it appeals to me,
okay.
that it makes my heart grow.
That's fair.
So let us focus on the that. Let that be what we discuss because the science is unimportant.
I mean,
So
you can just say you failed science. You didn't have to go into it like that. Like that's all you had to say was you wasn't any good at it in high
I was
school.
not. Hey, when it came to I am not a mathlete, and I am not a Scientologist.
It's fair.
I was not either one of those students. If you had caught me in history, I did all right. I got through my government class all right. I basically nailed all my English classes.
I believe that.
But when it came to the sciences and
You're either science and math or you're English and social studies.
yeah,
You're never a little bit of one.
and this is one of my character failings because I was not inherently good at it
Yeah.
because I struggled and I asked for help and I still struggled. I gave up.
Right.
I gave up in a big way. I just didn't care enough to continue trying. It was not interesting to me, so I set it down and I was like, well, I'm going to be a failure in this class and every other class attached to this particular discipline in life. So
That's how English was for me.
I'm not a math expert. I'm a wordsmith.
I like my math.
Oh, I hate numbers.
Love numbers.
I hate numbers unless they're attached to just big, big dollar signs. That suddenly your bank account has an isosceles triangle in it. I don't care about math. I don't.
An isosceles triangle, is that
Yeah.
what you said?
And I realize that I'm just being obtuse.
Pun intended.
Hey,
That was pretty good.
somebody out there is going to watch that and say that's a really acute joke. Because these are all types of triangles, you see.
Yes. All types of angles. So what was the thing that you really wanted to get on today? Was there another comic book series you was planning on touching on? I know we pretty well summed up your feelings and thoughts on the Absolute series last time, if I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
I don't know that until I read more of it. And I read a lot of Batman and I read a little bit of Superman. I'm not impressed with Superman so far. I feel like he is. I am curious. I doubt I would say I'm excited.
Right,
That's I guess that's how I would summarize. I'm curious, but I'm not really excited, at least not on the scope of the entire line. Batman, I'm kind of excited for, but beyond that, I'm just a little curious.
right.
The artwork is kind of a detractor for me sometimes. It's like, why do they all look like they're drawn like teenagers?
Yeah.
I I just eh.
Eh, eh.
And maybe that is because I am predisposed to the mainline continuity, the familiar, it's a familiarity thing, like you like things that are familiar and comfortable and you understand them.
This isn't the Teen Titans.
Uh,
They're all grown men and women.
yeah, this is this.
We've known them to be 30, 40-year-old adults or whatever they are.
Bruce Wayne's pushing 50. He's got 20. Dick Grayson's like in his late 20s, mid 30s, something like that. Jason Todd's in his early mid 20s.
Right,
Tim Drake is in his late teens. Damian, his son Damian is like, mid teens too, maybe a year or two behind that. And it's like, okay, this entire generation of Robins, that are from adolescence all the way up to adulthood, and you're telling me Bruce Wayne is cresting 40? Come
right.
on.
Yeah,
He cannot be some sprightly youthful. Yeah, yeah. Batman's only been a thing for a couple of years now.
right,
He's getting old, just like the rest of us.
right.
He's held together by wire and sheer force of will,
Not wrong.
and and not much else. And he regularly comments on that. I will talk about this. So there is an issue that basically deals with, it's like right between the events of Batman R.I.P., which I'm not going to go into trying to explain, and the beginning of Final Crisis, where you think Batman dies. That's the big promotion that they had, was the image of Superman basically holding Batman's desiccated corpse.
Okay.
That was their big selling image. So they're now obviously that's not what actually happened. There's a whole false bottom in the wicker basket thing going on here.
Right.
But anyway, there's an issue that takes place in between these two events where the Justice League calls Batman. And they're
Right.
like, "Hey, we've got a murder. It's big. Get over here. We need you to figure this out."
Right.
Because Batman is the world's greatest detective. And because he's Batman, he's like, "I'll be there in 5." Meanwhile, in his head, he's like, "These are the people I work with every day, and they don't understand that I'm not like them. They
Right.
don't understand that I'm not a Kryptonian god. I'm not an Amazonian, you know, blessed with, whatever all his words were. He's like, I'm just a man. I'm held together with, whatever all he says. He's basically commenting, I have to walk with the gods, and they don't realize I am just a man,
Right.
but they expect me to find all their answers in the dark and lead them out of the night, and I'm just basically barely keeping up with them. Or it's like, man, Bruce Wayne is really, he's really. I I have to put on my armor and hope for the best, and I'm thinking, this is heavy stuff. Like, this is
Yeah.
actually a really cool side of him that they never show. And it's like Batman basically he has to force himself to believe it to make all their, to to be the one to find their answers. And then even he's worried he can't do it.
Right.
But he has to force himself to believe it because otherwise the world falls apart
Yeah, that.
because he's Batman.
Right.
And that is summary enough. That is answer. That somehow is answer enough. Whatever impossible task, whatever wild thing. Well, how did that happen? How did you do that? Why did this thing suddenly work out for the benefit of everyone? I'm
Right.
Batman. And no further explanation is
That's all.
needed. That's all you got to say.
Yeah.
Maybe I should stop saying I'm Johnny Cash. Maybe I should start saying I'm Batman. But I would not be able to deliver that straight. Like my smile would break it. It would ruin it.
No, you'd be all right. You did just fine just now.
Yeah, well, that only worked out because I'm Batman. Anyway,
See?
I'd break
You
my
were trying.
teeth.
Yeah, I was about to say you were
I'd break
challenging
my
him.
teeth holding that face.
Let's do one more. Just in the middle of talking here in a minute.
All right,
One
well,
more.
I'll find a place to put it in somewhere.
That's what he said.
I'll try to work it out. But I bring up Tombstone. I think I've brought that up in this recording that the artistic flourish of Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday in the movie Tombstone. We talked about it briefly in our Welcome Back episode, the infamous needle skip episode that started this whole nightmare technical issues we have every other video anymore.
Yeah,
Which hopefully we have found that formula. We have seemed to nail it this time
doing pretty good so far.
without any issues. So maybe eliminating one of the applications we have to try to run and reducing the strain of bandwidth has helped. But I I watched Tombstone, and you just kind of fall in love with all these characters in a way. Not necessarily, man. I'm really thirsting for Val Kilmer. Like I get that inside me,
Right,
but you're just like it's so iconic somehow.
right,
And whether and that turns into crazy things. And I'll give an example of why. And so for a long time, every year, me and my buddy John and a lot of his family would get together for the 4th of July and we'd shoot off fireworks. Okay.
Right.
And so, because we were, we're basically amateurs pretending we're pros. We're trying to do this as polished as possible. And John's really into it. Like it's his one thing a year where he goes hard. Like he
Right.
spends money
Right.
getting all these fireworks, so he wants to do everything in a very disciplined way and put on a very good show. And we always manage to. But so that's, a lot of us standing around our launch pad holding lighters down there by the fuses, basically trying to time it just right.
Yeah.
And so one particular time we were doing this, I was being a smart ass, and he's like, "All right, everybody, get your lighters ready. I'm gonna give you a signal." And I was like, "Say when?" And that is Doc Holliday in Tombstone when he's in the final, the final conflict with Johnny Ringo, and they're both circling each other like wolves,
Yeah.
and Johnny Ringo's like, "All right, let's go, Lunger," and Doc Holliday, "Say when?" And he's call it. Let's
Yeah.
spin the wheel, Raggedy Man. Call it. I'm waiting on you. What are we doing here? And it's just
Yeah.
so many different lines like that just peppered throughout the movie where Doc Holliday is just like he's a drunken lunatic and you're just glad he's on your Wyatt Earp is like just glad he's on his side because it's almost an Incredible Hulk thing because if Doc Holliday was aimed at Wyatt Earp would be afraid.
Right.
But Wyatt Earp is like, okay, Doc Holliday's my friend. I get to aim him elsewhere.
Yeah.
I get to aim him at the things I want out of my way, and that's why Doc Holliday and like 3 different times I watched this movie several different times, not three, but it was my impression for a while that at 3 different points in this movie, Wyatt Earp and by extension the Earp brothers are confronted by someone.
Okay.
And 3 different times in my impression of these scenes initially, Doc Holliday intervenes, and that aggressor, almost immediately shits their pants and runs.
Okay.
Okay, and and it's just like every time Doc Holliday intervenes on behalf of Wyatt Earp or the Earp brothers, the other person backs down from the fight
Right.
every time. Like everybody in that movie, Wyatt Earp included, is scared to death of Doc Holliday. Like he is a drunken, sickly, Incredible Hulkish character somehow. But he just some whatever formula it was, however they came up with it, whatever it was in Val Kilmer's mind that said it, he's like, "Well, don't worry, I know what to do." And the director George P. Cosmatos is like, "Are you sure?" And I'm just guesstimating what their conversation was. I have no idea. I'm throwing theory at the wall, but George P. Cosmatos is like, "If you say so, let's see what you got." Jazz hands. And somehow it worked. And it became one of the most just perfect, just nailed the formula.
Right.
Just nailed it. Just invented the formula.
Yeah.
And I don't know that it could have been done any better, and I don't know that anybody else could have done it. And I'm a big proponent of saying I hate it when people are like nobody else could have done this.
Right.
I hate that thought because it's like how the fuck do you know?
Right. Because you don't.
You don't. Who knows if somebody could have done Iron Man better than Robert Downey Jr.? The character had never been adapted like that before.
Right. Can somebody do Iron Man better than Robert Downey Jr.?
I guess we'll see by the time we get to Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars because the rule book is out the window.
How are you sure he's not playing both characters?
Kevin Feige's basically like, thanks to the multiverse, we can do whatever we want.
Right.
So we'll see whether that means that 30 different Iron Man variants are about to show up and all of a sudden, hey kids, Tom Cruise is going to be Tony Stark for about 5 minutes.
I'd really like to hope that they would keep the few consistent characters the same. Like, you can always count on Ryan Reynolds to be Deadpool. You can always count on Hugh Jackman to be Wolverine. It's like I would love to think that those characters have played enough predominance in that role to own that role no matter what.
Well, I just my problem is that we're basically getting the I don't know if you understand what I mean when I say a variant.
Sort of, yeah.
Like it's just a version of the character from another universe somewhere,
Okay.
and they show up in whatever it is that you're watching.
Okay.
And so, I mean, Professor Xavier has been killed off like 7 times at this point, and so now he's getting ready to be in the new Avengers movie as yet another variant.
Right.
I would imagine maybe I, we'll see when it gets here, but it's like okay, how many different variants are you going to shove down my throat before it's like, okay, this version of Cyclops isn't one you've seen up
Right.
until now. He's just from some other, yet again, new universe we're experiencing for the first time. He just so happens to be played by the same guy that's played Cyclops
Every other time.
every other time.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay.
But sometimes it works out. Sometimes you nail the formula, just like they did with Deadpool and Wolverine.
Right.
But other times it's just like, okay, this version of this way they did this time is not appealing to me.
Yeah.
This is just I don't know. So I mean I am excited to see the movie, but I'm worried about how much they're just going to be like, oh well, it's not even the version that we saw back in X-Men in 2000. It's just a variant from yet another reality,
Right.
and we thought, what the hell, we'll get James Marsden back.
Did it work for him?
I haven't seen the movie yet. It comes out in December. But they got Robert Downey Jr. back.
Right.
He played Iron Man up until Iron Man died. Now they're like, hey, he's about to play Doctor
Doctor
Doom,
Doom. Yeah.
and why that is, and what they're gonna do to explain why Doctor Doom, assuming he ever takes his mask off, looks like Tony Stark, is up for debate.
Right.
Like how they're going to explain that. My personal theory is that he is actually a Tony Stark variant from another reality. That instead of becoming Iron Man, he became Doctor Doom.
Doctor Doom.
Because I don't buy the idea that like, oh hey, the Avengers trusted you for 5 minutes just because you look like Tony Stark and you were able to fool everyone.
Right.
I don't I don't like that explanation. Like to me that's soft. That's
Doesn't sit well.
that doesn't sit well. Like that's soft cheese.
Yeah.
Like give me that Colby Jack, man.
Yeah.
I don't sharp cheddar.
Extra sharp.
Oh yeah.
I actually get some stuff called seriously sharp, and I'll tell you,
This whole conversation just made me hungry as hell for cheese.
we're gonna have to get a block of it.
Yeah, we got to go to the store because now I want cheese.
Got old ratatouille over here.
We're doing pretty good on time,
Not bad. Not bad at all.
but so you nail casting decisions over overlapping point. What I struggle to stay on task and talk about. You nail casting decisions. Sometimes they work out.
Right.
Heath Ledger as the Joker in The Dark Knight.
Is Heath Ledger the best Joker ever?
He is very good. He is very good for what Christopher Nolan. He did a very good. Well, let me say this. He did a very good job for what Christopher Nolan was trying to do in his movie.
Yeah.
But I also feel that Jack Nicholson did a very good job for what he brought to Tim Burton's movie, and they're two wildly different animals.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
Jared Leto for Suicide Squad did a horrible job for his version of the Joker.
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix, I'm not even interested in.
Isn't Robert Patterson supposed
Robert
to be? Robert Pattinson.
He is Batman.
Batman. Okay. Backwards. Whoops.
The assuming they don't change who the Joker is supposed to be in that version of Batman, he's played by Barry Koenig, who has been an oddball a lot of stuff. He was in Eternals. He was in I'm Saltburn. It's kind of a weird movie.
Yeah.
It's like a murder mystery comedy, dark dark comedy. Um, I'd struggle to tell you what all he's been in. He's kind of a weird casting choice, a little bit like Ezra Miller.
Yeah.
He's kind of a weird personality,
Yeah.
and I don't other than Eternals, and I'm not and I enjoyed Eternals. I'm not going to go so far as to say I enjoyed his character in Eternals,
Right.
but I just I'm not crazy about him really either.
Right.
So to me to say that I think you can nail a formula as all the things coming together can nail a formula, but if you take any one of those things out of there,
Throws it off.
it throws it off.
Yeah.
So I think that I can't buy into the logic that only a certain person could nail a character at any given time. Like there's a lot of different things that go into an actor giving a performance.
Right. That's fair.
There are so many different variables there. So many different things that go into making that up. And if all the rest of the people around that actor are great, then they just build a great movie with great performances in it.
Right.
But I can't buy into that logic. Like I don't know if anybody else could have played the Joker in The Dark Knight beyond Heath Ledger,
Right.
because that's not what we got. We got Heath Ledger and he did a great job.
Right.
And what was there was very entertaining. But to say that nobody else could do it is an insult to a lot of other very talented people, I think.
Right.
He did a great job. And that's all I
He
need to
did the
say about that.
best job. That's how you need to say it.
No, that's not what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it because that says nobody else could have done it.
Nobody else is gonna hear you say that they couldn't have done it.
Nobody else could say they couldn't have done it because nobody else did it.
It's because nobody else was good enough to do it.
Nobody else got a chance. Like how many? I don't know how many people Christopher Nolan actually went through and said, "All right, give me a Joker."
I mean, there's got to be at least 20 people that cast for each spot, right?
I, I don't know. I'd be curious. I would be curious. I'm not curious enough to actually do the research because I don't want to know. I don't actually care. But I am a little curious, but I'm not curious enough to go out and do that research. I will
It's
say it
literally
that
a
way.
Google search. You AI search everything with voice chat. What do you mean right now? You won't even voice chat ask that one?
We'll come back to you. But there's great performances out there where they nailed the formula, and those are a few of them. And and I think Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, even though he is not the short king version of Wolverine, which is an incredible hypocrisy on the part of people who scream bloody terror over how something isn't strict adherence to source material.
Right.
And
For his height, the example you're getting at
yeah,
here, is he traditionally short in the comic books?
well, you, Skylar, and I did this research.
Okay.
In
I've
the
already forgot.
comics, Wolverine is 5'3". Standard size, standard Wolverine is 5'3". Hugh Jackman's about 6'3". But most people don't complain about the fact that Wolverine in the movies is tall as hell.
Yeah. Especially comparison to some of the people he's going against.
Yeah,
Right.
because he's usually cast opposite people who are also tall.
Right.
but nobody's worried about the fact that he's not comics accurate Wolverine. He's not comics high accurate Wolverine.
Is it because they've picked the right enemies to make his size not seem so outrageously large?
I I don't know. I don't know
Hmm,
why people don't have a complaint about it.
that's
But
intriguing.
but for people who complain about every other thing,
Yeah,
that they don't complain about Hugh Jackman as Wolverine is that's that's soft sauce.
yeah.
And I don't have a complaint about Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. I think again, he did a great job. He does a great job.
No, he is the best Wolverine. I need you to say these words out loud.
When you give me somebody else as Wolverine, like a complete performance that is not the 8-second cameo of Henry Cavill as the Cavalrine, then I will have something to compare it to. But until then,
You
I'm
think they'll ever give it to him?
I don't know.
No.
No, I think that they've perfected their formula. They're not going to try to add anything else into that stew. We don't need no gumbo. We're just here for chicken noodle soup. Okay? They're no.
Right.
Even if they had to go to the extreme of like digitally aging him up or down, they would not move away from Hugh Jackman, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think you could. At least not yet.
You could not. He is too much a part of the brand.
Yeah.
Like he is Wolverine for better or worse.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's definitely a few characters that have solidified themselves in those roles.
He is the industry standard Wolverine.
Is Gal Gadot the only one that's ever played Wonder Woman?
Uh,
For Zack Snyder, yes,
for
because
Zach for Zach's for modern day live action film adaptation, she is the only person that has played Wonder Woman.
yeah,
Now, there was a live action TV show from back in the 70s that had Linda Carter as Wonder Woman in it, and Linda Carter actually cameos in Wonder Woman 1984. And they were really hyped up to get that third movie in her franchise where the two characters met,
right,
and like it could be, hey, the two Wonder Women are on screen meeting and fighting together, whatever. They really wanted that, but 1984 was not a big commercial hit, and Zack Snyder's DCU fell apart, and James Gunn's like, well, I'm just going to sweep all this mess under the rug and do something that makes a little bit more sense and that people can actually be proud of.
right,
I shouldn't say it like that because that says that there's nothing to be proud of in the franchise of films that Zack Snyder started with Man of Steel, and there were good projects in there. So the Wonder Woman movies were good, the Shazam movies were good, the Aquaman movies were good.
right,
James Gunn's The Suicide Squad was a part of that continuity, and that was really good.
right,
So to say, oh, it's just full of bad projects, that's not fair to people who did work hard and make good films.
right,
But projects that were not good, that had problems, that they can kind of tank it for everybody else. That it's like one bad egg can spoil the whole carton.
I'm telling you,
One one
that's all it takes.
one person, one thing can screw it up for everything else. Just,
You worked in a warehouse.
yeah,
You know all too well.
I've worked in several. I work in a warehouse now.
And I sure hope you're not ruining that one like you did.
What's that?
Just kidding, buddy.
What? It's lucky we're friends because you don't think of much of me as an employee. Is that what we're talking about?
Mike said he sure could use a few of you at the place he works at now.
Oh yeah. Well, one of the one of the one, big because like Hugh Jackman and Wolverine, that's a thing. Okay, so
Right.
one of the other things, we still got a little bit of time. We're running all right, so I'm not afraid to take this path. But you know, back in '78, you know, you had Superman the movie, and it was the first time that Hollywood had really stepped out and said we are about to do something
Right.
with comic books. And you know, there were like the theatrical serials from the '40s. They did Batman, they did Superman, they did Captain America, they did the Green Hornet, and it was like, okay, you know, find out next time on.
Right.
You know, you did like 15 minutes of a thing, and then it was like, what happens next? You know, does Batman get out of the way of the train coming down the tracks or whatever? It was
Yeah.
very, very soft serve ice cream.
Yeah. I'm with it.
And then you had the campy Adam West Batman TV show from the '60s, which they actually put out a movie in '66. And you know, that was kind of a soft, you know, another soft serve attempt, but you know, there was never a really big blockbuster
Run of it.
thing.
Right.
And then, you know, Superman the movie, because you gotta add that caveat there. It's like it was Superman colon the movie.
Yeah.
You will believe a man can fly.
Yeah.
Directed by Richard Donner, of course, starred Christopher Reeve and Gene Hackman and Marlon Brando, and you know, a lot of people who is I've done the math, are actually almost all of them are gone now.
Wow.
Yeah, like it is down to a very scant few actors from the movie that are still alive. Like all the big principals are dead,
Right.
and but Christopher Reeve, who hadn't done a lot up to the point, you know, he's relatively unknown. He got cast, and then, you know, even today, he is a lot of people's Superman,
Yeah.
and that is the role that, you know, there were four Superman movies in that franchise, and that is the role that he is most recognized for, and that is the version of Superman that the standard most people hold is Christopher Reeve as Superman, and good, bad, or otherwise. So, you know, now across the space of 48 years, you think, okay, well, we have Christopher Reeve as Superman to as an industry standard. You know, the Superman has been adapted so many different times. You have so many different opportunities to say, okay, this is what I hated about the character. This is what I liked. This is what he did wrong. This guy was a drunk. I don't know why they even cast him. Probably because he was drunk and cheap. And you know, so you have any odd number to choose from
Right.
across 48 years of material. You can be like, this one was good, this one was better, this one was awful.
Right.
Look at Wolverine, and you know, not quite the same, but since 2000, there have been 12 or 14 projects that Wolverine has been in, and it has been one guy
Right.
the whole time.
Yeah.
I,
Ryan Reynolds is on his way up to that number too.
Iron Man 2008. First, first and only ever live action adaptation of Iron Man. One guy.
Right.
Spider-Man, you get a little kinkier. You have a little bit more leather straps to tighten down,
Yeah.
and nobody thinks about Nick Hand. Nobody thinks about Nick. I actually had to school somebody on this the other day. Nobody thinks about Nicholas Hammond, who played the character in the '70s TV show that only ran for about 8 episodes.
Right.
Because everybody else is like, oh, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland.
Andrew Garfield. I never can remember his name when I'm having a conversation with people at home.
But I think the reason that characters, a lot of actors' performances as characters become so iconic is you don't have anybody else to fuss with
To
them
base.
over.
Yeah. There's nothing to base it off of.
Yeah, you're adapting material for the first time.
I don't know. All it says is that was a solid first pick.
That's a great first pick, and they're not going to screw it up by trying to do something else.
Yeah. Well, I mean, why bother? And that's what throws me off with the whole switch on Spider-Man. Was Tobey Maguire not well off enough as the first one to really? Let me rephrase the first one of our generation.
Yeah,
Was he not well off enough to be the sole face, or did they really? Did they just decide that some characters are better off not played by one
I
specific actor
I don't know. I
throughout a
think
career?
Spider-Man 4 just never materialized for whatever reason, and 5 years
It
later,
was a different company that put it on, isn't it?
I I think a lot of the I think a lot of the creatives involved had changed by then. Like Sam Raimi had gave up. Tobey Maguire was like, well, I don't really want to make this movie with somebody. I don't know what all they said, but
Right.
you
Things
know,
slowly trickled off
you
to,
just you
yeah,
just slowly everybody that was going to be Spider-Man for it just said, well, they're taking too long to put something together here. I'm going to go do another thing. Tobey Maguire might have walked away, and they said, well, if we can't get Tobey Maguire, let's just relaunch this thing from scratch.
right. That's fair.
And then, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 didn't do what they thought it did, so The Amazing Spider-Man 3 never got made, and all of a sudden we're looking at Spider Baby Boy Man, and
Yeah. Of
we get
course, let's not forget No Way Home. Or
No Way Home.
is that the one with Miles Morales?
No,
What's the one with Miles?
that is Into the Spider-Verse.
Mm. And
That is
that's a
the
completely different
animated
character.
franchise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's only animated. I thought there was a live action
There,
rendition of it.
not yet.
Okay. There's talks, I'm assuming,
There's
or rumors.
there's talks and rumors, but there's not live action yet.
Fair.
But we're running a couple of minutes ahead of schedule. I think we got excited about the fact that we didn't have any issues.
Yeah, it looked
So
like it ran really smooth today.
that basically this episode ran smooth and clean, so that was exciting.
The video quality may not be what you've been used to, but I think a little sacrifice in quality is what's
Just
necessary
to
to
keep
keep us
us,
sounding good in the audio field
uh,
for now.
so we're not basically just click, click, click.
And you can still see
So
our pretty faces on there.
well, Christopher's anyway.
That's right.
I, I'm not going to be a smart ass right here at the end. Let's just call
Oh,
it so
come
that people
on.
can go back to their cups of coffee, and
All right.
we will see you guys on the next episode.
Till next time.